there's an option to select A or B, which one would it be? And the way I look at it is whether I select A or whether I select B, the end result's going to be the same.
Welcome to a new episode of the DefDevice podcast. And today I have the special honor to have Mr. Toshitaka-san from Yunige with me today here. Welcome, Mr. Toshitaka, and let me know if I did spell your name correctly or not.
Yeah, you did perfect. Hi Donald. Yes, my name is Toshitaka. Last name is Inoue. It's a bit more difficult to pronounce, but yes, and I am from Yunige. We're a company in Osaka, Japan.
Yes, and we have been working together for quite some time now, and I really appreciate what you can do, especially for Amazon sellers who want to expand to Japan. So I would appreciate if you could share what are the services included in your business.
Okay, great. Yeah, and also I would like to say thank you for letting me speak here. This is a very, very good podcast. I've been listening to many of the podcasts that you've done in the past, and a lot of fabulous people. Yeah, this is great. This is great. This is a very good, very honor for me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So to give you a bit of briefing of what we do here in Yunige. Mainly at Yunige, we help especially Amazon sellers bring their products into Japan. And we've been doing this for a while. I guess you would be, you could refer to IOR being the importer of record. And so we do help a lot of people bring their items to Japan, especially cosmetic items, food items, compliance-related items. We do specialize and all sorts of other general items as well. However, we have grown to have an entity in 11 countries all over the world. And so, yes. And so now we're able to help people if they want to go to a US Amazon, UK Amazon, Australia Amazon, European Amazons. We can help import their items in these countries as well. And especially for cosmetic items and food items.
Oh, yeah, that's fantastic. See, I even didn't know about these other countries. So it's good to learn that you actually expanded to many other countries as well. And I think one of the first challenges I see people have if they consider to sell on Amazon Japan is they have no idea how to bring their goods in, what are the requirements, which products need to be certified, and if so, how to do that. So, and then after they are actually brought into Japan, of course, we need also warehousing, we need logistics. So you can, so you are kind of the one-stop shop for all of these things, right? So you can identify, number one, which product needs certification. Number two, you can actually help with the certification process, make it happen. Number three, as soon as the certificate is attained, you can warehouse their products in your warehouse, which, if I'm not mistaken, one of them is like next door to an Amazon, to one of the 6 Japanese Amazon warehouses. So you can basically carry the products across the road to the Amazon warehouse. And then you can also do like FBM fulfillment, right? So you can actually fulfill by merchant. And if somebody wants to send their products directly from your warehouse to the customer, you can do that as well. Is that right?
That's totally correct. I mean, I don't know, you explained everything. I don't have to say anything anymore.
Yeah, it looks like I know your business, man. That's that's cool. And that's because we have been working together for many years, and it's been a real pleasure, and you've been so helpful, and you have solved so many problems. So I really appreciate your professionalism and your quick response. I mean, you're one of the big boys in this company, and I'm always amazed how fast you actually reply when I have a question, when I have a problem. So that is something I think which is really, really valuable for someone who actually wants to use the service.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I guess we have a good idea of what Yunige does right now. I'm sure there's much more to say about it, but this podcast is about entrepreneurs' life journeys. So I'm really excited to meet 10-year-old Toshitaka.
Okay.
And I would invite you to share with us what was it like to be 10 years old? Where did you live? What did you do? And what was happening along the road for you to become the person you are today?
Right. Okay. Well, honestly speaking, time has flown by so fast. 10 years old, that's like way, way long time ago for me.
Same here, man.
Uh, but yeah, 10 years old. Okay, so um, when I was 4 years old, I moved to the US with my parents.
Oh.
So originally I was born in Japan, and because of my father's work, we moved to Japan, to the US, and we moved to a state called North Carolina, which is on the east coast of the US. And my father, he was planning to work there for maybe about 3, 4 years. So, it was kind of like a visit for the family. We would visit the US for a couple of years and then come back to Japan. Unfortunately, every year his contract was extended, and we ended up living there for 8 years.
Mm,
So when I was 12, I came back to Japan.
mm,
Among the 8 years, what happened was North Carolina, it's not a big city for, or a big state for the Japanese people. There are not a lot of Japanese people there, almost none. I only had like 5 Japanese families that were around me. And the kids, they were about my age, but unfortunately, we all spoke English and no Japanese. My parents, they would speak Japanese to me. I would speak English to them. Even
mm.
with my sister, we spoke English, and so it was kind of crazy in the house. You hear Japanese coming to me, I speak English to them. You know. So after the years, I ended up not being able to speak any Japanese.
Oh.
My mother was my Japanese teacher, which, I would not listen and I would not do any of her homework. So um, basically, studying Japanese was almost none. And all of a sudden, my father was um, ordered to come back to Japan 1 month before our actual movement from the U.S. And so within that 1 month time, my mother, she had to cram Japanese into me, which was again almost impossible. And so not really 10 years old, but around there, I moved back to Japan. And my biggest challenge was because my face is Japanese, everybody would speak to me in Japanese, but I could not speak back.
Spoke back in English.
Well, I couldn't speak back in English. I just sat there and smiled. We call these people that come back to Japan that lived in a foreign country returnees. And so everybody would call me a returnee. But the problem was going to school. I couldn't go to school because I couldn't speak Japanese. I could not write Japanese. There was only just regular Japanese schools around me, and of course, public schools. Nobody would allow me to enroll in any of the schools. And so my mother had to drag me around all over Osaka and Kobe to see if they could find a school, but they couldn't. Of course, I could have went to an international school, but that would defeat the purpose because I needed to learn Japanese. And finally, one public school, which was pretty far away from my house, meaning I had to take a train and bus for about an hour. Um, they accepted me, but only in a class where they had a lot of mentally and handicapped, challenged people there. And so, yeah, they put me in this classroom mainly because everybody else could not speak Japanese in a way.
Mhm.
And so, being crammed in that classroom for about 6 months, I had a one-on-one teacher that really helped to teach me Japanese. And yes, even though the class was a bit special, I was very fortunate to be able to be in a class like that so I could learn my Japanese. Japanese, if you know, you have the letters, you have hiragana, and then you have katakana, and then you have the whatever thousand Chinese characters that we use. And so the 50 hiragana that I learned, I was all happy. Next, he gives me 50 katakana, and then all of these kanjis, and so it just blew my mind. So I totally understand how difficult it is to learn
Mm.
Japanese.
Yep.
Yeah, and with that, when I was little, living in the U.S., of course, because I was Asian, I had a lot of people bully me, make fun of me, tell me I was Chinese, Korean. They never told me I was Japanese. They would always tell me I was Chinese or Korean. But yeah, a lot of people, a lot of friends, they would make fun of me. But that came quite natural because I knew I was different, and honestly, I had a lot of minor people that were really good friends of mine. A lot of Black people, a lot of Hispanic people, a lot of Asian people as well, and of course, I got along with a lot of the white people. So, um, being in this kind of challenging environment, especially in North Carolina and especially in the South, where there's um, still a lot of discrimination. Uh, it came quite natural to me. But when I moved back to Japan, it was the other way around. I was a Japanese, so I could blend in. But since I couldn't speak the language, again, I was bullied by the same people. Um, Fortunately, I didn't understand what they were saying because they were bullying me in Japanese. So I just kept smiling.
Oh boy, dude. I mean, this is so touching for me because I have such a similar experience in my life because when I was 10 years old, we migrated from Kyrgyzstan to Germany as Germans, and it was like a very, very similar experience. I came back to my own country. I didn't understand a single word they were saying because our dialect was so different. So there's so much we have in common here, which I'm just hearing just right now for the first time. It's unbelievable. But I don't want to interrupt. Please go on.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, you know what I mean. But I mean,
Yeah.
one thing I think I learned in becoming an adult is if I lose to those people that are bullying me, I'm never going to be able to stand up. And
Mm.
so I didn't take it personally, and I just tried to enjoy whatever was there. And then later on, when I became older, I was fortunate that I was able to speak Japanese, I mean English, compared to most of the Japanese here, and so it became an advantage for me. But when I was little, yeah, it was a very big challenge.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I can completely relate to that. Yeah, that's exactly my experience being like lost in different parts of the world. And everywhere we come, we are being bullied and discriminated because either our face is wrong, or our language is wrong, or whatever, something is always wrong. So this was happening to me my entire life, actually. And I can really, and maybe that's how we grow. Maybe that's how we grow by just facing these challenges and just yeah, becoming stronger. I think it makes us strong because
yeah,
we are the migrant, we are the outsider, we are the the weird guy, and we have to deal with it. And I think this is also what builds our inner strength in a way.
yeah, yeah. That's totally true. But there was one incident when I went to California. I never visited the West Coast when I was living in U.S. When I visited California, I was so surprised when I went into a restaurant. Nobody was looking at me. When I walked into the restaurant, nobody looked at me. I mean, when I was in North Carolina, if I walk in anywhere, I have 100 eyeballs facing me. Like, oh my gosh, when does this guy come in? But When I went to California, nobody was looking at me, and I was so surprised. Maybe it was because there's a whole lot of culture in California, and
Mhm.
so even within the U.S., there was a big difference. But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it
Yeah,
was a good.
so you made this huge move back to Japan. So you went to this school where you learned. So I mean, obviously you can speak Japanese by now. And so how did your career unfold? So you went to school. Did you when you finished school, did you have like any ideas like what you're gonna be, what you're gonna do with your life? Was there any like uh yeah like aspiration happening that what you wanted to become?
Yeah. Well, since I could speak English, I knew I could use this as an advantage. But I didn't want to become an English teacher. Okay, I wanted to have skills with my hands. I wanted to be able to do something, and then use my English as an advantage. But uh, the world, the society was not that easy. And and then I met this lady, and we found out that um, we had a child, so we got married. I needed to work, and so what I did was I decided to become an English teacher.
There you go. Yeah, I
Yep.
mean, you need to do what you have to do. I mean, yeah, you found out you have a child. So, yeah, that's an interesting discovery.
Right, right. Yeah, so I became an English teacher, but since I didn't want to be an English teacher, I wasn't fully devoted to it. And then along the way, I was fortunate to find a work in the pet industry. I worked for a pet manufacturing company, and we made pet products. Um, and and again, since I could speak English at the time, uh, my boss, the CEO of the company, he would send me to China, and there I would have to find new factories that could make the items that we wanted to make. And so from there, I would do the developing, I would do the QC, and I would do the actual importing
Mm,
for pet products. Now, as you know, pet products meaning you have everything from like pet food, pet snacks, um, pet appliances. These are plastics. Some are wooden items, all sorts. And because of this, I was able to learn about how I can import all of these unusual materials, unusual items, what kind of compliances are related, what kind of documents I would need. And so for about the 20 years I worked in the pet industry, that really helped me in knowing how to import things and the difficulties of especially QC for instance, China at the time. And so what I'm doing now is something that I kind of build up in working in the pet industry.
wow. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, pet industry. There's a lot of stuff involved. And yeah, if you learn how to import all these things, I'm sure you did your homework and you know how to import plastics and woods and foods and dog leashes and God knows what. Yeah, yeah, cool. So
Yeah.
then and how did your migration to Yunige happen? So how did you become the Yunige director?
Okay. So yeah, along the way, I was working for a company that was importing food items from Turkey,
Hmm.
and we were importing them by container loads, and we were selling them in Japan. And so I was able to uh, find new items, new ways of importing all different kinds of food items, checking the ingredients is, again, going through the documents and the compliance and quarantine. And as I was doing that, one of the bosses here in Yunige, his name is Amimoto, he was called up upon Amazon Japan, and it was right before COVID. So everything was still normal and COVID hadn't come. And just right before COVID, Amazon Japan called up on him and asked if he could help in bringing cosmetic items from the US to Japan. And of course, he flew to Meguro, which is the Tokyo headquarters here in Japan, and talked about it, discussed it, and found out that a lot of the U.S. cosmetic or beauty sellers, they also have supplements. And the food part was one of the weaker parts of Yunige at the time because they were only doing cosmetics. And so he called up on me and asked if I could help in getting food items, for Yunige. So I've known Ajinomoto-san for a while, and we decided, yeah, this is something that we could do. He went back to Amazon headquarters, said yes, we could do it, and fortunately, they booked an interview with the U.S. headquarters in Seattle. And so Aimo-san, he came back to me. He said, I have an appointment with Amazon US headquarters in Seattle, and so I need you to go there. And that was kind of like the beginning of Yunige for me. I flew to Seattle by myself. I was in front of two of the members that were trying to help bring sellers to Japan. And they offered me the projector, all sorts of high-tech items that I can give a presentation. But an hour before, I printed everything at Kinko's, and so I passed them paper presentations for Yunige, which was very very low tech for me. But that's all I had, and I explained the services that we could do to them. They were very they enjoyed it. They liked the concept. They liked the service. But unfortunately, I never heard from them for about 6 months. About 6 months later, we started to get inquiries from sellers, and from there it gradually started to grow. But as soon as COVID hit, the demand for EC here in Japan grew extremely. And I think that's where we started to grow as a company.
Wow. So COVID was actually a good thing for you guys.
Yes, it was good. Nobody was on the streets, nobody was going to the offices, but for us Unigib members, we were in our office every day. And before that, the Japanese people, yes, they did do e-commerce, they did buy online, but still they were very hesitant to use their credit cards. It was still a cash, cold hard cash country. But because of COVID and because they had to get their items, sent to them, I think that boosted the e-commerce here.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, COVID was a huge booster for e-commerce, I think, in many platforms in many countries. And you managed to benefit from that. And so that's so now you are basically one of the top players in Japan when it comes to bring in goods from overseas and arrange all the processes and certifications and all that. So I think that's very amazing how you guys have managed to get to this place where you're right now. And I can see that you're running like a very successful business, and I really appreciate that.
Well, we're working on it, and with a lot of help from Donald as well. This is a good business at the moment.
Yeah. Very cool. Before we go to the nuggets of wisdom, which is always like my last question. I mean, you just to share a little bit of your advice for Amazon sellers today, because you are the expert for Amazon Japan. So if let's say I had a brand in US and we are selling successfully, so what would be the main criteria for you to consider to actually expand to Amazon Japan? What would be like the few things that you would ask ask me as a successful US Amazon seller to make sure that expansion to Amazon Japan really makes sense?
Right, right. That's a very good question. Um, I know for many podcasts and webinars, people say that Japan is the fourth largest, and now they're saying that Japan is the second largest
Wow.
marketplace in Amazon. And so the potential here is quite large. Of course, US is much larger. And so number one, number two, there's a big gap, but Japan is very has a very big potential. I've been affronted by some Indian sellers saying, "How can a country so small make so much money?" And and yes, the country is small, but there's a lot of people here, and people are always looking for new things, especially if it's non-Japanese. They're very interested because we call ourselves an island um, country or island people. Um, in Japan, we have one of the strongest passports. I think it was number one for a while. I think it's number two or three now. I'm not really sure, but we're able to go to so many countries without a visa. However, only about I think the statistic is about 17% of the Japanese people don't have a passport. Okay, so we have a very strong passport. We can go anywhere, but they don't. They stay here in Japan. And so if they're able to buy something that's non-Japanese, and it arrives the next day, then they're willing to pay the extra money. And so again, that is one thing that I can explain that is potential here. But uh, another thing is please consider the country is small, the people are small, and so if the items that you sell are like not really small but compact, fit for the Japanese people, I'm sure there's again a lot of room for sales here. We're always looking for new items, different items. And Tokyo and Osaka may be an exception because we can always buy something in the local stores or the department stores. But there are a lot of rural areas where that's not so, and so they will need to rely on online sales now.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I've been studying the Japanese culture quite a bit, and I was also very amazed. I mean, the language and the fact that I think 95% of Japanese people are actually Japanese.
Yeah, yes,
So
yes.
this is so Japanese people are Japanese, there's no mix of anything. And they are open to like to explore overseas like foreign cultures products. I mean, as you said, surprisingly, they don't use their passports to actually travel the world, but they're still curious and they're open and they do appreciate Western culture and Western products. So and I mean, I also, until today, I thought it was the fourth biggest Amazon marketplace, but you're saying it's now became number two. So they even overtook Germany and UK. That is crazy. So, but yeah, I think there's like 130 million people in Japan. So it's not exactly a small population. I mean, it's definitely bigger than Germany, definitely bigger than UK. So yeah, it is an opportunity.
Yes, yes.
Just and then thank you so much for sharing. Like, what are the main factors here? And with this, we come to the closing note where Mr. Toshitaka-san will share his nuggets of wisdom. What you would have said to 10-year-old Toshitaka or to other entrepreneurs today who want to start their business, what you think are the most important things to consider, and what are the lessons that you have learned along your journey?
That's Yeah, that's very interesting to think about something like that in that way. Um, I've been told, and I also explain this to a lot of people. I myself, I think I'm uh, jack of all trades, master of none. Um, I've been working in multiple fields, with my English teaching thing, and I have been able to experience all kinds of things. Another big advantage for me is because I speak English. If I do any search on the internet, I can search in English, whereas a lot of the Japanese people they can only search in Japanese, which limits the amount of information they can receive. And so I try to consume as much information as possible, especially the work I do. I have to look at all sorts of commodity items to understand what it is so I can safely import these things. And so when I was young, I wanted to be a very skillful person. I wanted to, as they say in Japan, you have the skill, the craftsmanship of the Japanese people, and I wanted to be something like that. I wanted to be a master of something. But if I went back, I would probably tell myself, um, I enjoy what I do now. I'm not a master of something, but I do. I am fortunate that I have all sorts of information and knowledge. And so I would tell myself not to change anything. Another thing I usually tell people is if there's an option to select A or B, which one would it be? And the way I look at it is whether I select A or whether I select B, the end result's going to be the same. I might have to take a longer path with A and a shorter path with B, but the result is the same. So I think what I am now is what I have been doing for all the years that I've been living, and so I would not change anything. Maybe I would tell myself to learn Japanese or study Japanese a little bit more at the time. That's about it.
Wow. That sounds like a Zen master. You're just, I am who I am in the present, and this is my way. So everything is good. Yeah, I love that. That's very cool. Thank you so much for sharing, man. Yeah, it was a wonderful lesson, and I always enjoy to hear the life story of people that I've been appreciating for such a long time. So it was wonderful to hear from you. We will make sure that whoever wants to get in touch with you will be able to do so by clicking the link in the description under the video. We will provide whatever information you would like to share with people. And of course, guys, whoever is still listening today, I appreciate it, and who is interested to maybe explore the Amazon Japan opportunity, do speak to Mr. Toshitaka first. He's the guy to bring you in, and then there's many options from there.
Yeah,
So thank you so much for being on my podcast, and we'll stay in touch, man.
Thank you, Dado. This was a pleasure. Real quick, in Osaka now, we have the expo. There's a lot of people coming to Osaka, and if anybody stops by, our office is right by Shin-Osaka Station. And so, just drop by without an appointment, just to say hi. We have coffee, we have wine. You're welcome anytime. So yeah, please stop by.
Oh yeah, man, I'm gonna buy a ticket tomorrow, man.
Thank you so
All right.
much.
Thank you.